Gallardo had to be a little bit wily, but...
Well, you're going to have to against, that lineup. And I was real pleased with him. We played them 4 times at their place. We go to Boston for 3, come back here for 3 more. I mean, that's 10 games against, some of the best offenses you'll see. So I was pleased with his outing. I tell you, Richie and his staff did some kind of job with him to get to, kind of start from scratch. I mean, I think it bodes well. I'm excited about him the rest of the year. That's really hard to do, the stuff that, and he was very diligent about it, and he's going to have to stay on it now to stay where he was today.
Obviously, ultimately, you'd like him to go, 6 innings, but besides that, I said ultimately, you'd like him to go, get in the 6th inning. I mean, after this, obviously, first
get us into the 6th inning.
Yeah, but otherwise, I mean, is this kind of, I don't want to say send a message, but it kind of shows that this is what you need from your pitching staff. If you can get a couple runs in 5 or 6 innings, your bullpen, your defense, can kind of.
Well, you'd like to. You don't want to have pitch the same people every night, but you just want to keep the game engaged. It's kind of American League. It's not just us, and especially the American League East. You look at the offenses in this division and everywhere for that matter. But it seems like, no, it's a good example. And he'll get deeper into some games as we go forward. He had been 5 and I think 90, somewhere around there. But he had a lot of adrenaline going today. I thought he started getting the ball up a little bit last inning.
You see the fastball like 92, 93. Does that just tell you how the weakness he was trying to pitch through?
Exactly. That's a good point. We knew it. We thought in the spring, but a lot of guys, veteran guys, go through that in the spring. And then, but I'm beginning to change my thoughts on that a little bit because, Tilly came into camp first day carrying a fastball, and it's something Wally and I were talking about. But there was some concern early on, but you thought his pitchability and just getting into the lights and adrenaline of the season takes care of that a lot from experience. But it didn't this year, and you knew he had an issue.
Were you? Though he had gone 90 pitches, were you thinking around 80? Was that about what
I wasn't thinking? Like I told y'all before the game, it was kind of the other team and watching him and, wanting him to get out of there on a good note and do what he's supposed to do. And let's face it, Michael had 3 days, and Brad and Zach had time there, so we felt like we had a chance to, kind of pass the baton and have a chance. But, you see, 16 runs yesterday, then they're at a real premium today. We play in a division that has the only 2 knuckleballers in baseball in it. We play in a division that has the only 2 AstroTurf fields in baseball in it. I mean, I was talking to Kim about it the other day. I mean, I said, you picked a heck of a place to start your career over in the States. It's a lot of challenges you face here that you don't face in other places.
I know you like to say, well, other teams have injuries too, but when Hardy went out, he made a big point of saying he hoped the team would still be in first place when he came back, and the team's
go ahead. I'm sorry.
And the team's in first place, but the fact that you've been able to do it without all these rolling injuries as you've gone along.
Well, we had 5, we're down to 3, and. There'll be some other ones along the way, probably. It's not a normal thing to do to your body. But JJ probably had, I'm sure he was probably the most excited guy about us winning. He thinks about those things. But there was a certain calmness, not calmness, what's the word? It was a nice feel to have him out there, and just know there was one of the big plays in the game that people will forget is the relay on the 4th inning. That's a man on 3rd and nobody out, or a man on 2nd, nobody out if he doesn't go. A lot of guys turn and, just heave that ball to the plate and the guy goes third base. But that's something our guys take a lot of pride in. And I'm sure if you go back through it, JJ's probably screaming third. But it's a good feeling to have him back in. It's very apropos that, he turns double play to end the game against one of, real tough offensive threat.
What was Zach dealing with there in the 9th inning? I mean, he gets the save.
No, we were extremely spoiled by Zach, and I think that might be about as good a one as you'll see this year, because he was searching for it some. It reminds you that he's human, and what he does every day against these lineups in the 9th inning with the game on the line, is special and remarkable. And I think to come through that today and get, it's good positioning again. And John and JJ turn the double play, but he just doesn't give in. I know he never takes anything for granted. He acts like it's his first save opportunity every time he goes out there, and that's what you love about him.
The bullpen gave you 4 scoreless against this lineup. I mean, they've been good all year, but is that especially?
Well, yes, we're fortunate. Not every night do we have the, we missed Aaron, because, we're fortunate. Or the unfortunate part is because of last night's game and the night before. I don't know, they're all running together now, but not very often we're going to have those guys available. Michael's in a position to pitch multiple innings, which was another point about the 5th inning, because it's set up well for him where they were in their lineup to potentially pitch 2 innings. And then Brad, against the left-handers, can defend himself there, and he had a big inning. But that's a lot of pieces of a chain to have to work, and you don't want to do that every night.
Sending down McFarland, would you want to keep the extra infielder? Is that what the primary reason?
Not completely. There's a lot of factors going on here. Manny's going to start serving his suspension tomorrow, and that had a lot to do with it. Was that supposed to be leading into me announcing it? That was a pretty good segue there.
I figured you might want the extra.
Yeah, I guess that we have to announce it, whereas the league announces it when they actually reduce Ventura's suspension. They've always been searching for a way to, figure out a way to make it equal for a pitcher and a position player. Obviously, this is all based on precedent and not what we, being biased, would consider fair.
Knowing that they negotiated a one-game
without a hearing.
Without a hearing.
I'll let you guys critique that.
I'm sorry?
I'll let you critique that.
Well, does 9 and 8 make a difference with a pitcher?
I'll let you guys critique that. I'm trying to have enough money to finish up the garden.
One more on that. Could you, was there a possibility to negotiate from Manny down from 4 to 3? Obviously,
when we started, it was. No. Otherwise, we would have done that. We would have tried to get every game less without him. That was not going to happen. If you look at precedent, you're going to get me in trouble, right? You get in precedent, you're not going to, I think a lot of people feel like they had gave him some leeway there by starting at 4 from where some other ones have been. I'm pardon.
Just curious. No, I'm sorry. I'm curious as to the logic or the reasoning behind taking this suspension.
Plus Manny's decision. He asked me a lot about it, and we talked back and forth. I know he doesn't want to sit 5 days without playing a game. And if he starts it on Monday, he would sit 5 days. He doesn't want that. And sitting around 5 days without playing a game, because we're not allowed to send him to Frederick or Bowie or anything. It's another thing that's not really always equal, because a pitcher can go throw. A hitter can go hit. He can do some work here, and we're leaving some guys back here. There's going to be a workout at 11 a.m. on Monday, and Manny will get his work in somewhere, and hopefully be ready on Friday.
One more question about scope. You batted him second today. When he got that double, I looked to see what his record was against Dickey. He was 1 and 9, and he ends up with a double and a home run. Had you seen something you liked about
you can throw out. I didn't want to hit JJ ninth. One reason I hit him second, but you can throw out. It was obvious that R.A., which was a real tribute to him, wasn't carrying a real good knuckleball today by the number of fastballs he threw, and. You can throw out somebody's tendencies against a knuckleballer, because one day he's got a real good one day he doesn't. But I don't know. The logic with when to take the suspension, you can find 20 things to make it look that way, this way, that way. It's going to start somewhere, and it's going to be painful any way you do it. So hopefully we will continue. It's almost like we lost a guy to the DL again. So somebody going to have to step up and. good player and doing good things. And won't have him 4 days because somebody hit him with a pitch. There's other reasons too, intentionally. So I need to stop. What else, baseball-wise? Anything else happen today? Good. See it.